Man, what is going on? Let's see.
Up, bro.
CJ, what's up, bro?
Yeah. I had a
Man,
interesting week last week.
man, Bubba, let me tell you, you want to talk about having an interesting week? Bubba, I could write a book over what has transpired in the past 24 hours. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, buddy. Man. Yeah, you tell it, little man. You tell it. Or, sorry, little girl, whatever. I don't know.
He's watching our dog run out back.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had training last week, and
Yeah.
the first day I get there, I get on the bus and to go to the area that where training is, and the guy was sitting there reading the Bible. I was like, "That's a good book." He was
Like, bro,
"Yeah."
hey, that sounds like a bestseller.
He
Sounds
was
like a bestseller.
"Yeah."
You know, they had to take the Bible.
Do what?
You know, they had to take the Bible off the selling book list because it won every year. You know that?
Yeah, of course. Had to.
So they took it off the list, saying basically that it's not fair. We need to give other people a chance to win. It's like they don't like it. It's like God can't win all the time. That's not fair. It's like, all right, well, like, let's just take it off the list then. They probably move that sucker to the fiction section, probably.
Yeah, they're working on it. I'll say that.
Yeah, no doubt.
The
Just remember, guys, keep your head up no matter what.
Yeah.
Do not allow a circumstance to take your eyes off the focal point, right? Do not allow it to happen. I don't care what the situation is. Your focus needs to remain on the only focal point that is relevant in this world, and that quote unquote person is Jesus Christ. Do not take your eyes off the focal point, man. Don't do it. It's the only piece that you have, and once you can learn how to receive that piece, then you can basically tell your flesh to shut up, and you will be able to harness your emotions. So I'm not talking about spilled milk, even though, you know, why would you throw away milk or spill it? I'm saying it doesn't matter the circumstance. It doesn't matter. People will always ask you, bro, how are you okay? And it's actually sad that they don't know the answer, especially if it's people that know you. Like, they know what you're about, and yet they still ask, how are you okay? And you're like, bro, aren't you saved? Well, yeah. Well, then you should know how I'm okay. Why are you asking that? And the truth is, there's not a lot of people that can uphold that. It's just not. There's not a lot of people that this most ridiculous thing could come against them in life, and they'll be just fine. It doesn't mean the circumstance is fine. It just means that you're fine. Okay? You know, like I was literally just asked a few minutes ago through a text, you know, hey, are you okay? And I put, well, I've had better days. like, you know, obviously the circumstance is not easy, but how are you is the question, right? How are you? And so the hard time is going to come, whether it's self-induced or not. You could be the reason that there's a hard time, or you can play no part of the reason whatsoever. And people make choices. People are going to make choices. And you can try to hinder it all you want to. You can try to somehow say, well, I see this coming. And you can try to warn people, and you can do that all day long. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes, if not careful, you know, a person can resent you and start hating you because they know what you're telling them is true. And then the embarrassing thing does happen. And if you're not careful, they could feel like you're waiting to say, I told you so. And let me tell you, that's the worst thing you can do, is tell someone I told you so. And I'm saying in a mean way, or like a disingenuous, way. I'm saying you can say like, well, I was trying to prevent this. You have to use words to talk to people. You can say that, but do not say, I told you this would happen. Don't do that to the person, because if you do that, then you're actually proving you were never their friend. So, it doesn't matter who it is, but a hard time is just waiting right around the corner, and you cannot pray. You cannot pray. You cannot pray it away. I don't care what religious person tries to tell you that you can hocus pocus, mini ocus, or whatever. You're not going to pray it away. Even God was, when he was talking to Cain, he said, why have your countenance fallen? He said, sin lieth at the door. Like, don't do this. Like, I can see what you're doing. Don't do this. So when people say, well, God had the power to stop them, nobody's questioning whether God had the power. Of course he had the power, but you have to ask yourself, why didn't he? Why didn't God stop Adam and Eve? Why didn't God stop Cain? Why? Why doesn't he stop? Because you have a choice. It doesn't mean it was meant to be. Just because things happen doesn't mean, well, it was meant to be, right? That's what people try to teach, right? Whatever will be, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. Yeah, that's not how we're supposed to live as humans. You don't just go floating around life and then whatever happened, well, it happened, it was meant to be. No. If you wouldn't have done certain things, these things would not have happened. It's kind of like getting in a fight and beating somebody up and saying, well, God didn't stop me, so it was meant to be. And now the person's paralyzed because you threw them over I don't care if it was accidental, but you threw them over like a first story, a 2-story building, and they land on their back in a bad way, and they're paralyzed now. And you're going to sit there and say, well, it happened. God didn't stop it, so it's meant to be. No, it's not. It's not meant to be. We can't twist things and say things are meant to be. It's not meant to be. If I go plant a seed outside, if I go outside and I put a seed in the ground and it grows, you still don't say, well, it's fruit, it's good, I'm going to eat it. It was meant to be. This was meant to be. No, it wasn't meant to be. I had to go out there and stick the seed in the ground for it to be. It wasn't meant to be. God already made the rules. God made the rules of seed time and harvest. That rule, that law that he made, that is what makes it meant to be. But the seeds you sow are your choice. The seeds that you sow, they're your choice. So you don't just nonchalantly, anything that comes your way, well, it was meant to be. That is a horrible way to live. It's very destructive. It will hurt you and people around you because you just believe that everything's meant to be and everything's okay. No, it's not. If you do that with something that is good, then you have to do that with everything. So now you have to say everything's meant to be, right?
Yeah.
If someone's in a bad car accident and they become unalived in the car accident. Hold on a second. If somebody's in a bad car accident and they become unalived, like someone a family member, are you going to say, well, it was meant to be, and then you find out that they were drinking and driving? It was meant to be, so that was supposed to happen? So we're supposed to drive around drunk and unaliving people? No, absolutely not. And then what about lottery tickets, right? Because that's a bad one. What about a good thing? What about someone wins $1 million on a lottery ticket? How many people play that? And then the one that wins, well, it was meant to be. It was meant to be this person. Man, it's called casting lots. It's called rolling dice. It's not meant to be. You're gambling. These things are a type of gambling. But this is what people teach themselves to make themselves feel better. They'll just say it's meant to be. And it's not true. It's not true at all. It can make you feel better when you're like, well, this was meant to happen this way. It makes you feel better. That's why you say it. But the truth is, you have to tell the truth. This was not. Some of these things are not meant to be. You know, you see two people get divorced, right? And let's say one of them happens to just meet a millionaire and get married. Oh, I knew I shouldn't have been with that other person. It was meant to be because this other one has $1 million. No, God hates divorce. It was not meant to be. Just because you found someone that has more money, what does it matter that you lose your soul in this world? But yet it was meant to be because they had money. On and on we can go about things that are bad things that happen and then good things. And we try to somehow say, well, it was meant to be. So just remember, keep your head up, whatever the situation is. What's up, man? Who's talking? I'm sorry.
Dre, good morning. How's everybody doing?
Morning, what's going on?
Hey, brother, I just need to make a slight correction. I think the Vikings were meant to lose against the Browns. I mean, against the Cubs.
Hey, what was the score?
Bro, they lost by like
12 to 10
points.
Oh, man.
Hey, but you know what? We're still going to go Super Bowl.
There you go. There you go. Bro, y'all lost by 2 points? No way. 10-12. Wow, that must have been a good game.
It was terrible, bro. It was like
It was horrible. It was terrible. Dude,
nobody could score.
It made my eyes
score.
bleed. It made my eyes bleed.
Dobbs had like four picks, bro. Dobbs had 4 picks, and then Justin had 2 back-to-back fumble turnovers, and the Vikings couldn't capitalize, and neither could the Cubs. They were, the Bears. They were just trash, bro. It was just a trash game. I was sitting there watching it. I was like, I know Big Net is like cringing right now.
Yeah,
wow.
Well, I was like, hey, it's prime time. The Vikings never do good in prime time. Hence, they'll never win a Super Bowl. But hey, they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I'm going to tell you that. They're going to go, but they may not win, but they're going to go.
That's funny.
Oh, yeah. Yep, funny. Bears won without scoring a touchdown. How about that?
Are you serious? They kicked nothing but field goals.
Field goals, bro. 12 points.
No way.
12 points, bro. 4 field goals off of 4 picks. They just trash, bro. I was like, this is so trash.
Wow. Man, wow, that is crazy. Yeah.
It was like watching. It was like watching. Like, I don't know if you ever been to like a YMCA 5-year-old basketball game, and you're like, oh yeah, like I can't do it, bro. I get so frustrated.
Oh no, let me tell you. Oh no, let me tell you another. Well, I mean,
Dre, keep pouring it on, bro. Keep doing it.
Let me see. No, but baseball. I've seen like 5 or 6 year olds play baseball. Bubba, it'd be like 200 to 200. Like, they don't know how to get the ball back in to get the person out. So them kids just run, man. It's just, boy, if you just play that song, bro. Then you had
the random kid running the wrong way, going to third base instead of first base.
Oh,
that's what that game looked
man.
like. It's like the touchdown's the other way, Dobbs. The other way.
The other way. Hey, listen. I played football. I think I started when I was about 8. I think I was 8 years old, and first starting to learn how to put them certain screws on the chest of the person. And someone taught me technique. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So there's a certain way to hit. Like there's a certain way to grab. So I started doing it. I'm like, dude, I'm about to rule the world. I remember saying, I'm about to take everybody down. Like, I just thought I was supposed to hit them real hard, as I'm 8 years old. And they're like, no, look, you want to lean forward, put your head down like this. And I'm like, man, let me try this. And then I started getting, good at it. Well, I'm saying all that to say this. At 8 years old, bro, that still happens, right, in football.
Came out with the targeting.
We had
you're the reason they came out with the targeting rule.
Do what?
I said, you're the reason they came out with the targeting rule. Little Trot running full speed with his head first and just bow.
Targeting rule. What's that?
Oh man, break it down, Ned. Break down the targeting rule, or Taylor. You haven't seen it,
It's
bro?
it's when you lead with your head for a tackle, and a lot of times you do head to head, and you get fined for that. People get concussions. That's what caused like Junior Seau to get.
Okay, so but hold on. But what's the conclusion of this? You're not. I feel like there's something missing that you haven't told me. I still don't get it.
Dude, it's how people get hurt, bro.
Okay, I understand that, but I feel like y'all are not telling me something. No duh, people get hurt.
Hey, you said, bro, the way you said that you learned how to tackle and you leaned with the two screws.
Okay,
you were learning how to. That's how we learned how to tackle. We would call it head cracking. I was trying to knock your head off, head to head. But
that's what I did.
Yes, but that's targeting, bro. The defender.
Okay, I don't get your point. What's wrong with targeting? I don't get your point. What's wrong with targeting?
Bro, it's illegal now, bro.
Oh, it's illegal now. Well, God dog it. Yes. I mean, maybe that's what y'all should have said. It's illegal. Okay. So when you said that I'm the reason, I guarantee you I'm the reason they come up with that law. I am not kidding, bro. I was just straight dominating. Anyway, so the point I'm getting at, though, is we're running around like Dre's talking about, right? Like everybody trying to figure it out. There's probably 2 or 3 people on each side that knows what's going on. I didn't know everything that was going on, but I knew the guy with the football's going down. Like, I knew that, bro. And so we had a guy that was taller. He's our age. He just had a growth spurt, bro. He looked like he was 12 years old. We're all 8 years old. He's a big old dude. And his name was Rodney. And he came to my side, and I'm like, bro, like, this dude is so big. Like, what am I going to do? Well, I'm sitting here trying to contemplate on how to properly hit this guy. He sticks his hand in my face, bro. His arm is like twice as long as my arm, bro. See, at 8, we're all the same size. So I'm not little me. We're all little, except this freaking gargantuan of a guy that's running us over left and right. And we didn't know what else to do, so we put in a running back that we hoping, that something was going to change. And I just remember everybody screaming, like, I'm like, man, I'm looking around like, well, I didn't do nothing wrong. What's everybody screaming at? And I turn around, bro. When they handed that dude the ball, he saw Rodney, because Rodney played both offense and defense. He saw Rodney come around, Bubba. He turned around and ran the other way. I remember distinctly saying, "Where are you going?" And so let me tell you what made this whole thing worse. I remember these things, bro. And obviously the ball's way back there, right? Because Rodney should have just let him run all the way, but Rodney caught him. He knocks him down, and dude, they give the ball to the same kid. Like, the coach talks to him, "Listen, you need to go that way," and like clearly the kid is saying, "Oh, I understand." But you're not understanding. He's scared of Rodney. So they hand him the ball again. Bro, he takes off running again the opposite direction. And I hear everybody acting the same way. I'm like, no way. So I turn around. There he is, bro. He didn't just run all the way down. He runs out of bounds. Like, he's looking behind his head so much that he's going out of bounds. He's just trying to get away from Rodney, man. He runs out of bounds. And I can't remember what happened to that. I just remember those two things. The kid running the wrong way. Oh, that brought back memories. Yeah, I remember that.
Rodney was Lawrence Taylor out there, boy. I said he was Lawrence Taylor out there.
Bro, it was like that for like 2 years until we all started catching up with him. Bro, he was so tall. I couldn't tackle him, but it is what it is. But anyhow, guys, yesterday, obviously, I was preoccupied with some family affairs, and Dre's like, "Hey man, everything all right?" I was like, "Nah, actually they got worse, bro." So I think yesterday I explained that, and I had some news that was like, man, some horrible news. And I said, man, just imagine your multi-million-dollar business, someone comes up to you, your lawyer, and says, "Hey, you're bankrupt." And you're like, "Oh man, what?" Like, that'd be hard. And then they come back the next day. "Oh, by the way, it was your family member that bankrupt the company." What? The one I trusted? Yep. And then they come the next day and go, oh, by the way, there's charges being filed on your family member. They're going to prison for, 10 years. You're like, what? So not only you lost your business, not only, is a relationship, probably destroyed. It could be mended, but probably destroyed. And then now you can't even be around them because they're going to be in prison. So, you have that. And then you get a call that after the person is in prison for, let's just say, a month, that they take their own life. Like the trickle effect is what I'm talking about of sin, the trickle effect. It will hurt people around you. It will hurt yourself. You should have learned. You should have learned this already. Whoever you are, you should have learned these things. And it's not about pointing the finger. It's the worst thing you can do is point the finger, shame on you, and all this, because one day it will be you. There will be something that's occurred, and you need to know that the people around you, they need to see the Jesus in you, man. They have to see the love in you. You cannot always pick the easy task of being the taskmaster, right? Of being the law keeper. Man, these people done heard it already. And a matter of fact, they're sick of hearing it. People are sick of hearing this attitude of perfection, that you need to be people are tired of it. I don't understand why people to this day run to the law as a savior, and it's the thing that is beating them up every day. I will never understand that. I can relate because we've all been there, but once you see what the grace and love of God is, you'll never again run to that. You just never will. And so yeah, there's a lot going on there, but like I said, the plotting thickens. Let's see, November, I requested. November, what are you requesting to come up for? Let us know. Let us know what's on your mind. You can put a whole sentence right there. So we'll barricade it. No big deal. I'm Christian. Okay, yeah, but what do you want to discuss? Is there a topic? Is there something on your mind? What's on your mind there, November? Okay.
Yeah, I remember him. So I was like, I don't know who that is. I was like, I was just about to ask you, like, hey man, somebody's requesting. I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Observance of the law.
Oh, so you want to talk about the law? Well, actually, November, maybe another day we can talk about that, because actually we're talking about the finger of God, and I'm about to get into that. So today we're not talking about that. If you want to stay in, you're 110% welcome to stay in the room. But we're not talking about the law. I'm discussing a small part of it due to how some people view things, but that's not the discussion of the day. But I'll say, why is everyone else on the panel? Because they're here to listen to the finger of God. That's why they're up here, and plus they're. Let me see. Or I'll tell you what. Let me bring you up. That way, maybe I can hear you, and see. Maybe you have something that you wanted to. What's going on, November, man? What's up?
What's up? Yeah. I just want to listen too. Actually, I wanted to talk about not the observance. Oh my gosh, my Bible just fell. Not the observance of the law, but in keeping with the law.
Yeah, well, we're not talking about that, so I don't want to. That's why I didn't want to bring you up, so you didn't feel like, because there's other lives, dude. They're probably talking about that exact thing. So I didn't want to keep you if that was happened to be something that you wanted to speak about particularly. But we're talking about the finger of God today. So, I mean, if you want to hang out, man, you're more than welcome. No big deal. So, but we'll continue on.
Is everyone participating, or
no? The people. No, well, you'll see. If you stay, you'll see. So there's not going to be the type of participation that you're probably referring to.
Well, I'll just leave that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hit mute on your.
You got to be careful with the barricade, so just make sure you keep that in mind.
Yeah, barricade. Yeah, go ahead and mute November, if you don't mind.
Fix my Bible, brother. My Bible just fell.
Okay, well, I'm gonna mute you. Okay.
Go ahead, dude.
Okay.
You're the host.
All right. So, let me see. All right. All right. So yesterday, obviously, we didn't get to continue. I wasn't here, but we're gonna jump in to another part, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be at least half of you that is like, finally, we're gonna discuss this. But let me just say this. That I'm being very strategic on how I'm discussing this, because it is hard to talk about these things and not talk about Ezekiel and the book of Revelation, because we are going to be in the book of Daniel today, and we are going to finally reveal, which I cringe the fact that we're doing this. So maybe I need to hurry up, make this 30 seconds so other people don't hop in, because I feel like that might happen, or shadow watch, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you're one of those Ezekiel, Daniel, Revelation guy, and you love talking about this, you might want to leave right now, because you are not going to like what the message is on the wall. That's all I'm going to say. So you had your chance. If you are still here, when we start going through here and you get upset, you don't have to block me and say, all these hateful things. You can just go wash your eyes, and hopefully the rest of the scales fall off so you can understand. But I tell you what, it will be something that should not be forgotten. I'll just say that. But when you get familiar with the Bible and you become more, again, familiar with the Bible, you will see these things to be true. The more you become familiar, the less familiar you are, then that's the issue. That's why these things are not easily seen, because you do have to investigate, just like the Bible says, to diligently seek him. That means investigate. And let's hop in there. So obviously we're going to Daniel 5:5. Tara, are you prepared to read? Because there's a few things that are going to be read today.
Yes, obviously. I've gotcha.
All right, so we're going to go to Daniel. Matter of fact, Daniel 5:5 is where the verse is.
Okay.
But what we're going to do though, is we're going to read all of Daniel 5. That's what we're going to do. We're going to read all of it. So go ahead and hop on in there.
Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast for a. Oh, I'm in the wrong version. You want King James?
Yeah, send the King James. We want Bible.
Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, whiles he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem. And the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. In the same hour came forth the fingers of a man's hand.
Hey, read that again. The earthly things. Name them again.
They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
Okay, so let me just mention, you should already see where this is going. Like, you don't even have to, if you understood certain things of the Bible, you wouldn't even have to finish the story. So there's 6 things that's named here, and it's very important to know that the number 6 always finds itself in the presence of a man. And I will add this, it's not a coincidence. There's 1,000 people there. This goes all the way back to where you see, like it says that Samson slew 1,000 men. It goes all the way back to that. You can see the type of banquet that they're having. Anyway, go ahead after what you read there. Go ahead, continue.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, Whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the 3rd ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was King Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonied. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house. And the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods. And in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers. For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and showing of hard sentences, and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belteshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have even heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee, that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shalt be the 3rd ruler in the kingdom. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, Let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king, and make known to him the interpretation. O thou king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom, and majesty, and glory, and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him, whom he would slew, and whom he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down. But when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomever he will. And thou, his son, O Belshazzar, hast not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven. And they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them. And thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know. And the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many tekel harson. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighed in the balances, and art found wanting. Paris, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. Then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet, and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him, that he should be the third ruler in the kingdom. And that night was Belshazzar the king of the Chaldeans slain. And Darius the Median took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. Amen.
All right, give me a second. Let's see.
I don't know about you, but my spirit's jumping all over the place right now.
All right. So the famous story of the handwriting on the wall, right? And the king tells Daniel, he says that you're a man that dissolves doubts. And like when you look that up in Hebrew, it literally is talking about interprets riddles, right? So here we have a man that can interpret dreams, interpret riddles. Does anybody know the name of Daniel in English?
God is my judge.
Yeah, right. God is judge, or God is my judge. God is judge, right? God is judge, or God is my judge. That's what name of Daniel means. So the king sees, right, in 5, it says the king sees, or we'll just say it the way it says it. It says in the same hour, and there's so many things to be focusing on, right? In the same hour. What happens every time, like a lot of times, that someone gets healed because Jesus is doing something? Doesn't it say, and within the hour?
Yes.
It does. So who was it that did this within an hour in the New Testament? Who is this?
Jesus.
It was Jesus.
In the New Testament?
In the New Testament, you see Jesus. He does something. We'll just say there's an action, and then it says, and within an hour, the person was healed. And within an hour, is Jesus the arm of God?
Yes.
Yep.
So he's the hand of God. Jesus is.
Absolutely.
Right? So Jesus brings a message. In the Old Testament, we see the finger of God. You know, it tells us right here, it says part of the hand. And the king saw part of the hand. And the part of the hand was sent from him. Part of the hand. So there's a finger, again, that wrote on a wall, and there was a message. And what makes people happy is, see, we know what was written. It tells us right here. See, what Jesus wrote, it didn't tell us what it said. But right here, look, it tells us. Look, it says right here. We can read what it said. Oh, man, dude. It's too funny, dude. I know. And people get mad at me. I'm sorry. Forgive me for mocking the flesh. It's not you. Okay? I'm not mocking you. The spirit and the flesh are enmity to one another. It's irrefutable. And the flesh is really good at kicking our butts, man. That's the truth. That is the truth. And so our job is to learn how to interpret dreams and how to interpret riddles in the Bible. I'm not talking about the ones out here. Don't get all super spiritual on me. We start talking about every dream you had for the past 25 years. Let's not do all that. You know, are those things real today? Yes, but they're not scripture. I tell people all the time, I don't care how many dreams you had that said this was going to happen. Let me just say this. When the real bad news came to me a few weeks ago, not the first one, I'm talking about the trickling effect. The second one, I had a dream it was going to happen the night before. The night before, I had a dream something was going to happen. And that night, that's exactly what happened, the way I dreamt it, 100%. But am I going to make that doctrine? I had a dream and start making it doctrine. It's not doctrine. It's a dream, but it's not doctrine. When you start maturing in the word, you'll stop following those things as though those things are doctrine. They're not. Doctrine's still doctrine. And we need the physical book, and so we can read the physical black letters on the page and where the rhema's at. So we can put everything together and rightly divide. People don't even know what that means. Well, we're going to talk about rightly dividing today also. But so the king sees a hand, and it says that it writes on the other side of the candle. Right? How does it say it? It says right here. Let's see. It says, in the same hour, forth fingers of a man, hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall. Right? So, let me see right here, Ken. The Amplified says, and it always has something in like parentheses or something. It's like, so exposed especially to the light in the king's palace. So the light of this candle is hitting the wall, and this hand appears. And the wall is lit up, right? It's bright. This hand is writing. And so it says in verse, I think 15, let me make sure it's 15. 15, it says, and now the wise men, astrologers, have been brought in before me, and they should read this writing and make known unto the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And right now, what I'm going to focus on is the word thing there. The interpretation of this thing. See, in the Old Testament, there's like a couple of thousand things. I'm talking about the word thing. It gives you every one of them that's there. You can go to every one of them anytime the word thing is used. And the majority of the time, it's the Hebrew word daba, which is the H1697. But in this particular case here, it's not the same word. It's millah, which is 4406. It's not the same word. So it's not just talking about any old thing like the rest of them. When you go read 1697, that is more of what we call, well, you know, something or a thing. It's like the word thing. It's more the word thing than millah is, 4406. Because millah actually means commandment. But yet here it's the word thing. You know, right? Look how it says it. Look how it says it, right? It says 15. It says, so all the wise men came, astrologers have been brought in before me that they should read this writing, right? They should read this writing. Sorry, I'm using the wrong word. The one, well, I already went over thing, but I wanted to go over thing and writing. So first in 15, it says, should read this writing, is what it says, writing, right? And when you go look that up in Hebrew, right beside writing, it's prescribing. And that is why people are called scribes, because they write, right? But a prescription, right? When a doctor prescribes you something, it's a message if you don't know. That's what prescribing is. It's a message from a doctor that's like telling, you know, a person or whatever to use medicine or therapy, but it's official. Why? Because it's from a doctor. So the doctor has a license and he writes a message and it's official because a doctor did it. It's called a prescription. He prescribed. He had to write it out. But it's a written message. If you don't know what a prescription is, it's a written message. It's saying, hey, you need to take this. There's going to be a message there. You need to take this for this, blah, blah. So all the scribes and all these people were sent to the way it words it here, right? To read, that they should read the message, the writing, the message. It's a message. God's finger always writes a message. And we've been saying that for the past week, that it's always a message. And the problem is when someone says, well, nobody knows what the message is. It should be heartbreaking that a person who claims to be a Christian doesn't know what the message is. And they say that because in incidences like this, it's about to tell us, right? It's there in the black and white, right? It's there, and it says, many tekel apherison. That's the message. See, we know what it says. Yeah, well, if you're not paying attention, you're still not going to know what it means. What is the point of knowing what it says, but you don't know what it means? Somebody, what is the point of that? What's the Samson gives a riddle and they couldn't interpret the riddle. What's the point of the riddle being given and you don't even know what it means? Like you can't interpret it. Wouldn't it be like God to one time not actually give the riddle and just to see if you can interpret what he's doing? Does there actually have to be writing on the ground when Jesus wrote? Does there have to be actual writing there to understand what he's writing? And I'm saying there's writing there. What I'm saying is, do you have to be told what is written there for you to see what he's writing? The answer is no. The answer is 100% no. The problem is your unbelief is the problem. That's the problem. It's your unbelief. You have to see it to believe it. You have to see it to believe it. So now we looked at writing, which is a written message. That's what prescribing, that's what it says. All the astrologers and the wise man, they came to see if they could read what's on the wall. And we looked at the word thing, which is there in 15. And it says, again, they came to see if they can read the writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of the thing. Of the thing. And that word thing is commandment. Are you surprised? Are you surprised this whole time that God wrote a commandment with his finger? Are you surprised, really? You're surprised, huh? Right? Because there's 50,000 things going on in the Bible. It's all different. Man, it can go so many ways. There's so many things going on, man. Oh, dude, man. If you ain't figured it out, there is not 50,000 things going on in the Bible, man. There's only one. And you either see it or you don't. But don't be mad at me. Don't come pinch me and wake me up. I may not be there yet, but my feet are off the ground. Don't come pinch me. Please don't. Let it be. Hold on a second. So, again, out of all the times, I can see y'all right now just flying through your concordance. What? Why is he talking about this thing? Oh, go look it up. Go look it up. I'll give you more time if you need it. Go look it up. Go look it up. The most insignificant thing that you will see in the Bible will be the most significant thing. It will literally transform the story from what you thought it was to what it actually is. But you have to diligently seek it. Go ahead and Google it all you want. Use Google. You'll be there all day with Google. You have to diligently seek it.
Hold on, what did you say, Try? I got a phone call and it kind of threw me off. What is it, the insignificant thing?
It's the word thing.
And what did you say it means?
Commandment.
Commandment. Ah, okay.
So in 15, it says, and now the wise man, the astrologers, have been brought in before me that they should read the writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not show the interpretation of the thing. And that word in Hebrew, it means commandment. And it's not a coincidence. Are we still surprised that God's finger writes commandments? We're still surprised. It just so happens to be commandment. So what's up?
So, could they not interpret it because Jesus wasn't revealed yet?
Well, we'll just put it this way. There is only one interpreter of God's word, and that's God himself. There's only one interpreter, and that's God himself. So Daniel, being a wise man, a man of God, Joseph, being a wise man, a man of God, both of these men could interpret. Both of these men.
Hey, you know what made me laugh though? Try how
Yeah.
they said it brought me when Tara was reading it. It took me back to Paul when he was doing miracles, and I was like, "Oh man, this guy, we got to do sacrifices unto him because the gods are with him." And it's the same thing with Daniel. They said the gods are with this guy.
Yeah.
It's the same. It's the same concept of what happened to Paul in the New Testament. God is with him.
Yeah.
The gods.
God's
the
with
gods,
him. He's got
the gods.
the gods. He's got the spirit of the gods. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dan, see what when it comes to this. So Tara, let's go to Daniel 3 real quick. And I just want to reiterate that I am being very strategic on words that I'm saying and the way I'm saying it. Just for those few people that are in here itching to learn more about revelation, please give me the revelation. You got a Bible and you got the Spirit of God, then God will reveal it to you. But don't comply with my heifer. I'm only going over this because we're talking about something specific. So I'm being very strategic. There's a whole bunch I could say about this right here, but I already know people will be like, I got it, guys. We got 2 more months of work to do. Well, not on my behalf, you don't. All right, so let's go to, let's see. Yeah, Daniel 3, and I'm going to say something real quick before you read. So we know Daniel 3 is the 3 boys, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And we got chapter 4, which is Nebuchadnezzar, right, which is the father of Belshazzar, who Daniel is dealing with now. Okay, I'm pointing that out because what we're about to read in 3 should help you just see something a little more clear. So read 3:22. So this is the
22.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Okay, so in 22, the word commandment there. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, it's literally means the word, and it's the same word for thing in 5:15, 4406. It's the same word. So 4406 and Daniel 5:15, which is the word midlaw, the word thing is commandment. And it's being used as commandment in 3:22. It's not being used as thing. It's not being used as, or better yet, it's being used as commandment here, which it's the word thing. And I'm saying this slow because I'm trying to make sure everybody's tracking what I'm saying. It's not just a thing that they were trying to interpret. It was a commandment that they were trying to interpret. The same 4406 is being used here. Commandment, it says, therefore, because the king's commandment is the same word, millah, it's the word commandment. So in Daniel's 5:15, it says they're trying to interpret a thing. It's the word commandment. So the astrologers, all the wise men, came because they were trying to interpret the commandment that was written by the finger of God on a wall. Again. It's funny that we always catch ourselves as humans. That God writes something down and everybody's just trying to figure out what it's saying. But the wise men know. The wise men know what it says. They said, go get Daniel. Daniel knows what it says. Hey, Pharaoh, there's this man when I was in jail. I had dreams and he told me what they meant. Pharaoh said, really, bring this man to me so they can interpret dreams. They know how to interpret the commandment of God. They know what it means. They know. Do these people still exist today? Are there wise men today that that understand how to interpret God's word? Do these people exist?
No.
We're listening to one right now, brother.
Well,
yeah, they exist.
It's a question you have to ask yourself. Do these people exist today? It's real simple. It's either yes or no. Or you could just ask yourself, man, do I understand? If not, is there somebody who understands? Should I listen to someone who does understand or should I not? People ask themselves all the time, man. Anytime somebody comes on TikTok, that's exactly what they're asking themselves. Man, it's a TikTok Christian. TikTok Christian. Oh man, bro. It's funny how people belittle. Like, bro, I minister to people to their face every day. I don't need TikTok. I don't need TikTok clout. I don't understand this. I'm going to use whatever tool I can to talk about Jesus. I'm going to use every tool I can to talk about the hand of God, the finger of God. I'm going to use every tool I can, period, the end. And you should do the same. Instead of saying, I'm a Christian and I hate other Christians on TikTok. Well, brother, the Bible says you need to love me. So why don't you do the right thing and interpret the Bible the right way so you can learn how to love people instead of hate them? Because if you loved them, like you claim you do, you wouldn't be cutting them off. You wouldn't be TikTok backbiting, messaging people, talking bad about other Christians. I mean, you're acting like you're 12 years old. You need to gird yourself like a man. Gird your loins like a man and stand on truth regardless who feelings you hurt. Regardless. I'm not talking about pointing out sin and telling people they're bad for sinning. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if something is true in the Bible, whether other people like it or not, then you need to just tell them. So, all right. So we looked at the writing on the wall, which is a written message. We looked at the thing that it's referring to, dabah. And that thing means commandment. So they're trying to interpret the commandment of God written by his finger. Right? So let's look at what was written. Let's look at what was written. So what was written, right, is God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. That's what was said to the king. And right after that, right after Daniel interprets this, you have to ask yourself, why did Daniel believe him? Why did Daniel, I mean, not Daniel, the king. Why did the king believe Daniel? I'm sorry. Does anybody have a guess? Why would the king just believe what Daniel said?
Well, part of it is his own wise men said he's the guy that knows the answer.
Yeah, bro. Like everybody's like, hey, so there's this dude. Like, oh, all right. So there's this dude. Okay, got it. So he tells him, let's see. Oh, my bad. I went the wrong way. Let me turn this light on, man. It's a little dark over here.
It's hard to minister without the menorah.
Do what? I need the menorah. I need to get me one. That'd be cool. Have like a menorah.
I have one. I have one. I do. We light it up for Hanukkah.
Yeah, but how many candles does it have?
7.
Ooh. All right, so you don't have the 9er one. So it says
I have the 9er one too, but
you got a 9er one too.
There's 2 there. It just depends on what I'm doing. Yeah.
So he says mene mene tekel upharsin. That's what he says, right? And then he explains for us, thank God, in English what it says. But after he gives the interpretation, it says, then commanded Belshazzar, which is a king, and said, clothe Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold around his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the 3rd ruler in the kingdom. The 3rd ruler in the kingdom. What does that mean? He was made the 3rd ruler. Does that mean he was number? What does that mean? Is he 3rd in command, or does that mean that when I die he's going to be king? What does that mean? The 3rd ruler. Either way, we'll just say this: Joseph was what number ruler in the kingdom?
The 3rd, wasn't he?
No, he was
second.
He was
second to Pharaoh.
He was the 2nd
right.
in command. Yeah, he was the 2nd right after the king.
Right. So Joseph was 2nd. Daniel was 3rd. Oh, I wish I can get into that right now. Oh, man. Woo, buddy, I wish I could get into that right now. I really do. Maybe we might another day. But I think y'all know I can digress if I ain't careful. But so he says, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Does anybody understand what any of this means? Anybody? Can anybody
Can I take
interpret?
a stab at it?
Yeah, go right ahead, man.
I want to take a stab at it. So,
go ahead.
Adam, and I might be really wrong, but this is just kind of sticking out to me. So, dominion was given to Adam. Satan took his dominion away, and then Jesus brought the dominion back. Am I on to something or am I not?
Well, I mean, no, go ahead. Look, all I'm going to say is, if you feel like you have something to say it and just let me know when you're done and we'll go over it. So go ahead. And I mean, I'm not going to stop you or interrupt you. Just say whatever you want to say. And when you're done, we'll go over it. Let me know when you're done, though.
I just feel like that's a shadow, because, first Adam was given dominion by God. That dominion was taken away. And then Jesus took that dominion back, which he would have been the third ruler. That's just kind of what I'm getting so far. But I guess that's where I'm at, though.
Yeah.
Not very
so
much.
let me just say this, right? Let me just say this. Right now, I'm talking about the writing on the wall, the commandment that was written by God's finger, and there's three parts of it. God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Thou art weighed in balances and are found wanting. Thy kingdom divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. So what is the interpretation of this? So people say, well, Daniel's already interpreted it. Okay. All right. Daniel's already interpreted it, right? Mm-hmm.
Judgment's what I see.
Anybody else want to take
this? I would say it's talking about the flesh.
The Medes and the Persians, that would represent the Gentiles, right? So if man, like I want to say something, but I guess I'm a little nervous to say it.
Just let me know when y'all are done, because we're gonna go over it. We're gonna go over it.
Flesh and soul, and I gotta go. So, all right.
Yeah. Is that it? Is that all the guesses?
Well, in pertaining to the law required righteousness which nobody could fulfill except Christ. And, your kingdom is numbered, found wanting. Man, that's just kind of where I'm like hung up on that part. Like,
it's all right. It's all right. We're gonna go over it. Jude, my question is, so remember what was written on the wall, and I'm gonna say it right. Many tekel Yepharsin. This is what, because he said right here, it says, then was the part of the hand sent from him. This is Daniel 5:24.
So,
and his writing and his what?
Oh, sorry, I must have a lag. I was on a phone.
Oh, you're good. Call. And it says, and this writing was written, and this is the writing that was written. Many tekel Yepharsin. This is the interpretation of the thing, of the command. And so when you, in English, this is what Daniel said to the king. In English, in our language, okay, to the best that we can interpret it, the king was told by Daniel, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Thou art weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. And so the question is this. And then it says in that night,
he died.
He died.
Right. So
that's what it says. Okay, so the question is, if this has any relevance at all. So when people say things like, well, you got to know who God's talking to, and you got to, so it's like, so there's a class, right? Hermeneutics. Okay. Homiletics is preaching, but hermeneutics, I've taken it. Okay. A few years back. And I've actually taken 2 of them, but that's irrelevant. But I've taken it, and one thing they harp on is exegesis, and what they're trying to do is show you that you can't use your Western eyes to try to figure out the Bible, and there is a historical truth. The point is, I've taken these classes, okay? I've taken them. So it's funny. It's so funny. I don't understand why when people take that class, they think nobody else has taken the class. It's so hysterical. They really believe I've taken the class and nobody. So you need to use some. I had a guy tell me you need to use some exegesis, and I was like, bro, I didn't. He didn't say hermeneutics. He said you need to use exegesis. Well, exegesis is taught in hermeneutics. I said, brother, I've taken hermeneutics. He thinks I'm misinterpreting scripture because I haven't taken a class. I said, I've taken the class. I know how to use exegesis. I know how to take out utilizing historical evidence, the language of the people, right? Taking a Bible dictionary to understand. I know how to do all that. Who Jesus or who the person that is writing, who they're talking to, what kind of people they were. I know how to break all that down, but
so try.
I'll send it.
So when we're reading 26, 27, 28, right? When it says like it says has numbered thy kingdom. When we're talking about numbering kingdoms, the thing that pops in my head was David. When he numbered the kingdom, he was cursed for that. Like that's not a good thing. Numbering the kingdom, numbering is usually not good. So that's a bad thing. And he numbered it. I would assume that means like you're done for at this point, weighing the balances, it talks a lot about the balances in the book of Proverbs. I would have to go back and try to like connect that and divide it into the Medes and the Persians. Would have to be, or I have to dig more into that, honestly. But
yeah.
I know the numbering is not a good thing normally.
Well, let's start off with God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Let's start off with that.
All right.
So somebody go to Revelation 12:12. This is all you're getting, CJ. This is it. I couldn't talk about this without bringing this verse up. So, and just so y'all know, I love talking about the book of Revelation. I love it because it does nothing but confirm everything that I talk about.
Revelation 12:12. The word of God says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
That's right. Because the devil has a short time. Devil's days are numbered, and he knows it. And so remember who Daniel is talking to. He's not talking to a wise man. He's talking to a fool. And how do you know this? Because he couldn't interpret what he was reading. That's why Daniel's called a wise man. A wise man is a believer. A fool is not. A wise man is a believer. A fool is not. So it says, God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. That's why Jesus said, it is finished. He finished it. Jesus finished it on the cross. Or we can just say that everything we're about to go over just coincidence. It's just all coincidences. People go over these things and they focus on the Persians and the Medes and they focus on Nebuchadnezzar and Belshazzar, and they focus on in the America, and it's going to be the Russians, and they focus on all these things. Let me tell you something. When we get to heaven, ain't nobody going to care about no darn America. Ain't nobody going to care about Russia. Nobody's going to care about any of that. You know what they are going to care about? They're going to care about the gospel. That's what they're going to care about. That's what all of us are going to care about. It will always be and stay the wisdom of God. Always. Nothing outwises God. There's nothing that is overly that's going to over wisdom God, man. You're not going to over wisdomalize God. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Thinking you're clever because you figured out what nation is going to be here, and then we're going to shoot the bazookas, and then the nuke's going to hit Russia, and then after that, that's when the whole world is going to look like a certain place, and we're going to be wearing masks, and then the mark of the beast is going to come. It's going to put them on your forehead, and you're not going to eat food. Yeah, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get
it.
The
Walking Dead is going to come.
The Walking Dead, and boy, the wrath of God. Oh my Lord, have mercy. And people eat that stuff up because it's entertaining to hear that. It's entertaining. The day of the zombies. God Almighty, it's entertaining. But you start telling them the truth, which is the gospel, and they can't stand it because you're stealing their merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
You're stealing their merchandise.
It's too simple. They want it complicated.
Trot, they're not all 100% wrong. I mean, there's zombies walking the earth right now. We just got to wake them up and breathe life into them.
I thought you were referring to the Vikings, bro, the way they played that football game. My bad.
Oh,
bro.
Hey, that's our...
Man. But you're still in their merchandise, right? Because they have something to sell. The wrath of God. Yeah, wrath of God. So God hath numbered thy kingdom. He's talking to the ruler, the king of this world, spiritually. Now, in real life, was Daniel talking to Belshazzar? Yes, because he died. When people say, you're over-spiritualizing, no, it doesn't negate the real story. It doesn't. Everything contests of Jesus in the Old Testament. It all does. It all contests to him. But it doesn't negate the real story. I don't even know why I got to keep saying this. People are something else. Daniel was a real man, guys. Okay? Daniel was a real man. Belshazzar was a real king. And Daniel told him, hey, bro, your time is up. Period. The end. Yes. 100%. But now you're going to sit here and act like that God, spiritual hand, God is spirit, but all of a sudden this king can see his hand. We're not going to sit here and act like that didn't happen. You're not going to sit here and act like that something spiritual just didn't happen in front of this king, and Daniel, a wise man, had to interpret it. You're not going to act like that didn't happen either. So enough with the over-spiritualized. If that's the case, then the Bible itself, the whole thing is over-spiritualized. The whole thing is. You're not going to sit here and keep the story carnal and act like the whole thing was carnal. You're being intellectually dishonest. You're not telling the truth. God's hand shows up in this story. Let's see, Krista. No one who starts off saying in real life, referring to the Bible, has no day. What? In real life? What do you mean, Krista? What do you mean in real life? I'm talking about Daniel was real. That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It just says Krista. Real life, referring to the Bible. Maybe she don't think that Daniel was a real man. I don't know what she means. But
well, there is a sect out there in TikTok that believes that everything in the Bible actually didn't physically happen, but it was all spiritual. So like Jesus didn't walk on the water, and so there's a new heresy out there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then why do you say it like that? Say it like what? Maybe you're hearing something else. Why do you say it like that? I don't know. Maybe you're saying, why do I like if I'm mocking someone that says in real life? Is that maybe? I don't know what you mean. Or maybe, you know what? Maybe Krista's only been here for like 30 seconds. Yeah, Krista, I've been sarcastically. Oh, why do I sound sarcastic? I'm sounding sarcastic because there are people who try to say that the Bible is all physical and there's nothing spiritual about it. And we're talking about the book of Daniel, where God's hand writes on the wall. And yet you see physical and spiritual happening together in the story. And there's people that will admit that God's hand did write, but there's nothing spiritual to the story. And I'm like, you can't say that because it's a real story with God's hand writing on the wall. So now, I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying. Then speak spiritually, not carnally. Well, okay, I don't know what you're referring to. You know, maybe you need to ask people in the chat that's listen to me speak very often. God is not sarcastic. God is not sarcastic.
Oh Lord.
What?
Oh Lord.
Okay, well I am. So I don't get your that means nothing.
That's why Trot's not God.
Yeah, I'm not God. Y'all haven't already.
Oh my God.
Anyway, all right. So
I guess Elijah wasn't sarcastic either, but
yeah, I know. She's just scaled. Yeah, I guess so, man. I don't know. But anyway, so all right. So there's one right there, right? God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. All right, and we know that's true. I shouldn't have to go over that much, to be honest with you. But let's go to the second part. And it says, thou are weighed and balances, in the balances, and are found wanting. So let's go to Tara, let's go to Proverbs 11:1.
Proverbs 11, verse 1. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight.
A false balance is an abomination. A false balance. And if you don't know what a false balance is, you are not going to balance your soul on God's spiritual balance scales. You're not going to be the one to do it. That'd be a false balance. It would have to be God himself. And what does the second part say after a false balance?
But a just weight is his delight.
Right. A just weight. Jesus is the justice of God. That's why it's his delight. There's only one thing that God is pleasant in or delights in, and that's the Son. He doesn't delight or have pleasure in anything else. So, what is it saying? Thou are weighed in the balances and are found wanting. Oh, man.
yeah.
So let's go to
Proverbs 16:11 says, "A just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work."
Read since you're in Proverbs, read 16:2.
All right. 16:2 says, "All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits."
Right. The Lord weigheth the spirit. So if you're lacking, what it might be that you're lacking.
Jesus.
Yeah. That's what he delights in. So, Tara, read Job 31:6.
Job 31, verse 6. Let me be weighed in an even balance, that God may know mine integrity.
Yeah, let me be weighed in an even balance. Excuse me. Even though Job says a lot, that makes no sense. It probably would have been good if God didn't weigh him right here this second, because he didn't have the eye to see. But I'm trying to show that the Bible makes it clear in its entirety that there is a weighing and a balancing. It's all over the Bible. So now we get here, and all of a sudden, these world, hellfire, brimstone, end of the world preachers, they're not talking about what's being weighed and what's balancing. They just go to the demolishing part, the destruction of God, God's destroying things. But the Bible makes it clear and is very consistent on what is being weighed, what is being balanced. And you either are in wanting, which means you're lacking something, or you're not. And when God made Adam and Eve, he did not make them in lack. They were not lacking something.
They weren't lacking the law, for sure.
They were not in lack at all. They were not found one.
Uh-oh, phone call.
They were not found wanting. So, excuse me. So let's go to the third part, so we can bring all this together.
Hey, you know what's what's funny? I got this pastor friend, bro, that talks about he loves to talk about the rapture, and he loves to tell people in his sermon, "Hey, listen, if you guys get left behind, go to my house. In the bottom drawer of my TV cabinet, there's a series in there on how to preach after I've been left behind."
Oh man.
Well, oh my gosh.
Yeah. But all right, so let's go to the third part of it. It says, "Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians." So where was Daniel? Anybody remember where he was at?
Persia.
He was in Persia. Where is that?
Babylon.
In Asia? Yeah, was that in Asia?
That's Syria over there by I guess it's considered Asia.
Yeah, but it's considered the area of Asia, okay? Yeah. And when you're looking at the wise men that brought the gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh to Jesus, these were the wise men from the East. These guys that came from the East understood what they understood because of Daniel. Daniel was the influence to these wise men. And it's important you understand that. Very important, because you have to remember, these people were known for being astrologers and things of this nature. And it was because of Daniel, his influence is what kept these people staying focused until the day that star showed up and they followed it, so they can give gold, frankincense, and myrrh to Jesus when he was a baby. Because it's another parabolic part of the Bible. It's another prophecy too, that all wise men are in the East. Eden, the East. Sin is as far as the East is to the West. West being the fallen land. And people are like, well, West is the Americas. Nah, bro. Nah, bro. Man, bro. No. That's not what it's trying to teach you. It's not trying to teach you the West is the devil, man. That's not what it's trying to teach you. It's trying to teach you to understand spiritually what is East and what is West. East is the Garden of Eden. West is the exiled land. Don't you understand? There's two nations. There's a nation of God. Is the people of the other nation that is not of God. So, but it says, thy kingdom is divided and give to the Medes and the Persians. Your kingdom has been divided. We already went over one that says your days are numbered, and it says God hath numbered thy days and finished it And God did number Satan's days. And Jesus said, it is finished. He's no longer ruler. You have to understand this. He's no longer ruler. Jesus said it is finished. And if you don't understand what Jesus is talking about, then that's the problem. My friend, it is finished. It's not a coincidence that it says God has numbered thy kingdom and finished it. It's already finished through Christ. It says thou are weighed in balances and are found wanting. Satan didn't have Christ. Sorry, he didn't. He had a belly, a dry belly. He didn't have a belly flowing with rivers of living water. He was told, and according to the belly may you go, and may you eat dust all the days of your life. Dust, because there's no more water in the belly. His own belly, his own will. And then we're at 3, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. So let's go to Hebrews. Tara, let's go to Hebrews 4:12. And you can read that.
4:12. For the word of God is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart.
Yeah. So there's this action in the Bible that divides, right? Just like it said there. Let's go to Luke 13. And wait a minute, I think it's Luke 13. Let's see, 13, Luke 13. Well, man. Maybe it's not 13, my bad.
Well, I believe the Bible says that, doesn't the Bible say that honey is like health to the bone and the marrow?
Find the verse. Bring up the verse.
Oh, I know it's in Proverbs. My son, never forget the laws of the commandments, and let that days of peace on you, and let not mercy forsake thee. In heart thou shalt find favor. That way, where is it? No, there is a honey one. This is not a honey one. Where is the honey one? I think it says
I'll
honey.
find it. I'll find it in a minute. Let's just move on. I know what it is. I wrote down. It's Luke something, but it starts at 20. I think it's 13 through 21. But I can't remember what chapter. That's what it is. I'm looking at it now.
Here it is.
Luke.
Sorry.
What is it?
I just jumped out of found it. It's in 16:24, which is right after that verse that we just read about the balances. It says, pleasant words are as honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. That's talking about words. It does say honey in verse. The other one, it says honey. No, it says wisdom is good for the bones and for the marrow. Yeah.
All right. It's all right. That's what I'm gonna do right here.
What verse are you looking for? Maybe I can help you find it.
Well, let me do Tara, go ahead and read Matthew 25:30 32. Matthew 25:32.
Okay. Matthew 25:32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats.
He divides his sheep from the goats, just like a shepherd does it. There's a dividing, right? There's a dividing. So like I was saying, the Bible's not about 50,000 things and you're confused and it could mean this and like it's not about it could be 1,000 things. This is what causes people to say, well, who knows? You're just speculating. No, if you know the word, you'll know. If you know the word, you'll know. You won't be confused. What's confusing you is your carnal mind is confusing you. So when it says that God doesn't cause confusion, it's talking about your carnal mind is causing the confusion. God is not causing. When people read the Bible and they're like, well, I'm confused. Satan causes confusion. So you think you're confused because you read the Bible? No, your carnal mind is the confusion because it doesn't know the things of God. The seed of Satan is the confuser. You didn't read the Bible and get confused. You're already confused. That's the problem. You got Islamic believers and all these people saying, I don't know, man. It's just too confusing. No, your peanut brain is what's confusing. You're the confusion. You're trying to use your intellect to understand God. That's the confusion. But people who can understand riddles and interpret the dreams that are in the Bible, they're not confused at all. So, Tara, go ahead and read, let's see, the second book of Titus 2:15.
Titus chapter 2, verse 15. These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no man despise thee.
Yeah, read the beginning of it again. What does it say?
These things speak and exhort and rebuke with all authority. Let no man despise thee.
Huh. Dang, I must have put the wrong one for that one too. That don't sound right. I apologize. Let me see.
You did say Titus, right?
Let's see. Titus
Hey,
2.
maybe you meant Second Timothy because you said Second Titus, but there is no Second Titus. So maybe you meant Second Timothy or Second Thessalonians.
Oh my Lord, have mercy. See, that's why I need to quit abbreviating. Well, Titus is what, 3 chapters?
Yeah, bro, it's short. It's a short book. That's why when you said
somebody hopped in. Zepzo said confused. Yeah, not confused with Satan though. There's a difference. Let me see. We're not talking about that kind of confusion, buddy. All right, let's see.
Well, 2 Timothy 2 in that verse talks about rightly dividing the word of truth.
What is that?
2 Timothy 2, verse 15, study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed. Rightly dividing.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. I'm sorry. Yeah. Zepzo, it's a joke. No, I know it's a joke, man. No worries, bro. It's no big deal. I'm just giving you stuff back, man. Just messing back. Yeah, so go ahead and read that from the beginning, Tara. Thank you for correcting that for me.
Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Right. Rightly dividing. That's why we're talking about dividing right now. And what you need to know is what is being divided, what instrument or tool is doing the dividing. Rightly divide the word. The rhema from the black letters on the white page. That's rightly dividing. Rightly dividing is not about how much of the black letters on the white page you have memorized so you can trump somebody else that misinterpreted the black letters on the white page. It drives me bonkers when I hear people say, no, that's not what it says, and they correct them with one word. You missed that word right there. It's like, bro, rightly dividing the word is talking about the rhema. It's not a trick way of saying get the story right. That's not what that means. Rightly dividing is not, oh, no, Moses didn't build the ark. Noah did. You didn't rightly divide the Bible because you corrected someone because they said Moses built the ark. That's not rightly dividing. Lord have mercy, dude. All right.
No, and then they get to screaming, like, "Oh, you don't know Bible. You don't know Bible."
Right. And they're all yelling because you don't know how to rightly divide. It's like, that's not how you use it. That's not what that means. It's not how Jesus didn't have 13 disciples. He had 12. That's not rightly dividing.
Bro, you see, you didn't rightly divide the Bible. You said second Titus.
Yeah, I said second Titus. I don't know how to rightly divide. That's not what that's talking about. All right, so let's go to Genesis 15. Genesis 15:10.
Genesis 15, verse 10. And he took unto him all these, and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not.
Yeah. So when the covenant was being made with Abraham, he told him to get 5 animals. And 2 of these animals was a dove, and another one was a pigeon. And the 2 birds were not divided, but the other 3 animals were. And it's not a coincidence that these 2 birds were not divided. If you don't understand, the dove is symbolically representing the Spirit and is representing Christ, because it's talking about a very innocent baby that was taken from their mother and father. Matter of fact, such a baby that it didn't even have like hair or feathers on it. It was naked. And if you don't understand that that's Christ, then the covenant is hard to understand. It doesn't make any sense. See, this is rightly dividing what I just explained. Remembering that there were 5 animals, and it says, all right, and we're going to cut the dove in half, but not the pigeon. No, that's not what it says. It says that the dove and the pigeon won't be divided. See, you're not rightly dividing. That's not what rightly dividing. Rightly dividing is talking about the rhema being separated from the black letters and the white page. There is a dividing that's important. Tammy, we just read Genesis 15:10. So let's go to Luke. Let's go to Luke 12. And I want you to read 49 to 53. Rodney, man, what's going on? I ain't seen Rodney in a minute. Luke 12, 49, 53. Y'all there, guys? Or somebody else can.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on mute. I was reading.
You're good. Yeah, go ahead and start over. Luke 12, 49 to 53.
I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I, if it be already kindled? But I have a baptism to be baptized with. And how am I straitened till it be accomplished? Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
So what kind of dividing is happening? Isn't that a spiritual division? That's what it is. It's a spiritual division. A spiritual division. So when Jesus said, I didn't come to bring peace, what does he say he came? What did he come for? He come to bring what?
A sword.
Sword.
Yeah, division, right? And it's in the form of a sword. But when the angel appeared unto the men, to the shepherds that were watching the flock, and they said, behold, a child was born, didn't the angel say peace on earth?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, so let's rightly divide that. See, people will say, well, it's contradicting. No, you need to rightly divide that. Rightly divide the rhema from the black letters on the white page. You need to rightly divide that. It's a spiritual division. So when the angel said peace on earth is referring to there is now peace between man and God. That's the peace. There is now peace between man and God. So when Jesus said, I come not to bring peace, but a sword, he's talking about Satan. So when people say, well, it says right there, peace on earth, and we still got wars. We still got wars. No, brother, no. You need to learn how to divide the word. Rightly divide. It's not talking about this world, the way you're thinking. And 95% of Revelation, Ezekiel, and Daniel is not even talking about this world. So, crush on that one. So, there'll be 5 in one house or 3 against 1 in one house. It's a spiritual division. Barricade. So it's a spiritual division. So, Tara, go to 1 Corinthians 13.
Okay. Which verse?
Let me see. I think I make my notes way too fast. Let me see. 1 Corinthians 1:13.
Okay. 1 verse 13. Is Christ divided? Was Paul crucified for you? Or were you baptized in the name of Paul?
Yeah, so this is when they're arguing about who's under Apollos and who's under Paul. And Paul's like, is Christ divided? Like, don't we all have all of him? Why are we dividing each other this way when the spirit and the pigeon were told not to be divided in Abraham's covenant? It's not a coincidence that the dove and the pigeon was told, don't divide them. They will remain whole. Because each one of us, when we get Jesus, we get the whole Jesus. You get the whole faith. You get all the faith. It's all there. You get all the faith. Nobody has a 2-foot tall Jesus and someone's got a 6-foot tall Jesus. And if you have more Jesus, then you'll be fine. No, then you're not understanding that he is the servant. He is faith. Faith is your servant. So you have all of him. So he's not divided. There's no division with him. He's whole. You either have Christ or you don't. Period. The end. And if you have Christ, you can't tell somebody, oh, ye of little faith. If you have him, you have all the faith. That's why it says he gives to every man the measure of faith. The measure, not a measure. That is not what it says right there. It says the measure. It is a full measurement. And O thee of little faith is talking about time. So when you bring that up, you need to go understand that it's talking about time. So there's still one more, and I put, I believe it's Luke, and it should be 13 through 21. But obviously I didn't put the chapter. So let me see if I can go back and find it real quick.
And measurement still goes back again to the balances. You know, he gives the perfect measure. He gives the measure on the perfect balance, which is him.
Yeah. Yeah, let me let me see.
Could it be chapter 12 where it talks about dividing an inheritance?
Dividing an inheritance. Let me look at it real quick. Because this one, I wanted to read it, but I can't remember off the top of my, because I made a note to read it. I just can't remember what it was off the top of my head. All right. So you're saying it might be Luke 12?
Yeah.
Let me see. Luke 12. Let's see. Yep, that's it. Thank you so much. All right.
Okay.
13
to 21.
Yeah, so it's Luke 12, 13 to 21. Yeah.
And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother, that he divide the inheritance with me. And he said unto him, Man, who made me a judge or a divider over you? And he said unto him, Take heed and beware of covetousness. For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentifully. And he thought within himself, saying, What shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. And he said, This will I do. I will put down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then whose shall these things be, which thou hast provided? So is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God.
Isn't this a foolish man that God is talking to here? Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like the man that Daniel was talking to, maybe? Because he died that night. Right? He was more focused.
Yes, sir.
He was more focused on the lavish life, this man, Belshazzar. What does it say? He had 1,000 people. They had this big old banquet, and they were drinking and worshiping the six gods, which is a number of man, but they were worshiping the gold, the silver, the wood, and it goes brass, and it goes through these six things, that meaning they were in their flesh. And he saw in the same hour a man's hand, and part of that hand wrote, part of that hand being a finger, and it says that he needed someone to interpret what it said. And it was like, and I couldn't find anyone to interpret this thing. That word thing literally is commandment. I could find no one to interpret this commandment. And the commandment is a commandment against the thing that is separating men from God. There was a commandment there that was written by God's finger, and it was separating. All God is showing with the law is that you have been separated from God. That's what the law was showing, that you will never be able to bring yourself back to where God's at. You will never be able to do it. So the law, the physical law, was written to a physical people to teach them how to physically behave. That's it. That's all the law could do, was to teach them how to physically behave, because it can never bring a person back to God. Never. So we see the finger of God again writing a commandment. It's even called a commandment. Whether people want to admit it, believe it or not, it is. It's even used, that word, milah, it's even used in English as the word commandment in Daniel 3:22. It's even used as that word, commandment. And they said, we have no one to interpret this thing, this commandment. So he reads, Daniel tells him what it says. God hath numbered thy kingdom and finished it. And it was Christ. It was Christ who had numbered this kingdom. Your days are numbered. And on the cross, he said, it is finished, because it was God himself that finished it. It happened. Thou art weighed in balances and are found wanting. You are in a want. You are in lack. And there's only one thing that balances the scales, and it's Jesus. That's why it talks about being delight in him. That the scales, when they're balanced, is delight. The delight is in him. So this is talking to a man that is not saved. But it's pointing to a king of this world, the king of Babylon. The Babylon is a nation of Satan. He's talking to the king of this world. And his days were numbered. Christ finished it. He was checked. He was weighed. And you are in want. A person who has Christ are not in lack. They're not in want. But this person is and was. The kingdom is divided, given to the Medes and the Persians. The kingdom is divided. This one should actually be very simple. What does Jesus say? To whom who has, much will be given, and to whom that has not, that also shall be taken away. If you don't understand what that means, then you're not going to understand that thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. You're not going to understand why Jesus is telling the parable of the rich fool. Look what it says at the end of this. He's talking about this rich man, and he says that the man says to his soul, he says, let's see, 19. So this man says to himself, and I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thy ease, eat, drink, and be merry. That's what he said to his soul. He was using the physical things in this world and said, hey, soul, we're good. We're good, buddy. And that's what the King Belshazzar was doing. We're good, man. And then it says, but God said unto him, thou fool. And the only people God calls a fool is someone who is not saved. What did Jesus say? What does it profit you? How does this profit your soul to have everything but you lose your soul? How does it profit you? All this is referring to Christ. It goes back to the gospel, all of it. And God said to him, thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. You know what he's saying? He's saying, we're balancing you tonight, buddy. And by looking at it, looks like you're in need and want. You're going to be found lacking He says, then, watch this, then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? So it is he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God. But he tells him in 20, at the end of it, he says, in the middle of it, he says, then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? Meaning all those things that you have, where are they going? Where are they going? So when that guy died, everything that he had was divided between the Medes and the Persians. Meaning you did all that for nothing, and then it just went to everybody else there. There was no substance. There's no validity to this king. His father, if you remember, Nebuchadnezzar, if you can remember, his father, his mind came back to him, and it even describes how. It shows us how that happened. It talks about his feathers grew back, the dew of heaven. He chewed the cud. It talks about all this. In real life, was this a real man? Yes, it was. In real life, these are real people. But rightly dividing the word is bringing out the rhema of the word. The rhema is very important. And so that brings us to the end of today's part, Finger with God, and we'll continue. I don't know if we'll finish tomorrow. We might. It's possible. But if not, hey, we're going to finish it this week. I promise you that. So if we're not done tomorrow, we're going to be done Friday, period. But hopefully you got something out of this. And if you did, don't forget to share and give this to people that you think can receive some wisdom of the Rhema, part of God's word. Don't forget to invite people to come to Descaled. Your mouth is a period. Your mouth is a testimony itself that, if you learn something, somewhere, it's okay to tell people, hey, man, you need to come hang out at Descaled and run through there, a little bit. So, don't just share, the live, you're talking to someone, bring it up, say, hey, man, you ever been over there? You need to go hang out. Need to go hang out. If they enjoy it, they enjoy it. If they don't, oh, well, I'm here to talk to the people that have ears to hear. That's who I'm here to talk to. I'm not here to argue with people that don't see any further than the tip of their nose. Most of the time, they don't let the Bible get in their way. They're going to believe whatever they want, and that's fine. You go right on ahead. And then I'm starting to learn that there's people that are, that take me, I become an offense to them. And there's people that are blocking me. I was on a live the other day, and I was like, hey, man, how come I can't send you a gift? And the person's like, oh, because I blocked you. And I don't even know who the person is. I'm like, well, I don't even know who you are. What do you mean you blocked me? And they're like, well, yeah, we don't know each other. I just think this is best. I'm like, all right. So, you're not always going to please everybody, man. People get easily offended about things, and, maybe I said something that offended the person, but if they were mature in the word at all, they would just love me and forgive whatever offense they're claiming. I don't even know if they are claiming, but obviously I had to have offended them in some way. Oh, yeah, update the YouTube. Oh, guys, I know. Last week, guys, hey, I had a bunch of family that was off. It was Thanksgiving time. I mean, it was family time. So trust me, I know I'm behind, and we're trying to get the YouTube to go live. That way we don't have to keep doing it because it's so time consuming. But don't worry, I know you preach here in Daga.
Bruh.
What are you talking about?
Nah, I'm just playing around, man. Just keep going.
You talking about San Diego? Talking about San Diego?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, you got a little abbreviation going. Man, it don't matter where I talk about God. I talk about God anywhere, man. Maybe after we're gonna go in January. We're going to Oklahoma, and then we're going to I don't know if we're still doing it, but as of right now, it looks like we are still going to Colorado. And then when we're done with that, you never know. Probably swing by old San Diego. You never know, man. It could happen.
No, you gotta say Dago. Dago.
Man, I
You can't say it right.
I better not. Who is this? Samantha. Samantha said Chicago. Hey, don't tempt us, Samantha. Chicago.
Chicago.
We'll hit up Chicago too.
Now that's a place. Hey, Trot. Now that's a place where I can for sure get somewhere with a view, skyrise view, for a fact. That can happen there.
For a fact, Jack. Y'all could come to Florida. We'll come to Florida. Hey, listen, we done made it very clear. Descaled is going everywhere that we can. 100%. That is a fact, Jack. No joke. We'll go to Florida. We'll go Alabama. We'll go to Bama too. We'll roll tie that bad boy. No big deal. But let's see. Come here, Eagles. Mike said, prove it. Mike, where are you at exactly, bro? You might be next on the list, bro. Don't play games. Dre, you know where Mike's at? What state is he in? I want to say he's from Texas. I thought he's from Texas.
He's currently in a Caterpillar. That's all I know.
I bet he is. Alaska. Hey, man, I ain't been to Alaska in a minute. Indiana.
I don't know about that. Might be the one we're gonna pass on there front porch.
This dude.
It would have to be
man, we go to Alaska. Hey, but we go. Hey,
no,
check it out. We go to Alaska. No, man, we go to Alaska and we go ice fishing, bro.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Indiana, Benny, what's
You do that
up? Yeah, Indiana's close to Chicago. Yeah, I don't think they're too far from each other.
Yeah, they're right next to
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah. All right. Well, check it out. So tomorrow, guys, we're going to pick up talking about the finger of God. So, wow, dude, we got 24,000 likes. You can ice fish in Michigan. Yeah, we'll go to Michigan too.
The problem is the fish in Michigan will kill you.
Yeah. Oh, easy. Too soon. It's probably too soon. All right. So
That
anyhow,
finger is
okay.
hitting the like button all live long.
Hitting the like button.
Yeah, that finger of God was hitting that like button, bro.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah. Trot. Hi, everybody. Good morning.
Hey.
If we can get Trot to 25,000 likes, please power tap for the last 3 minutes to get him up to 25,000 likes. I do appreciate it, family. Trot, this is excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop. Everybody have a good day.
All right, you too.
Hey, you guys are more than welcome to come out to South Dakota too, you know.
Yeah, no, I thought we already said we were going.
South Dakota?
Yeah, ain't that where you're at?
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I could have swore we said we were going up there at some point.
Oh, I guess I never heard it.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we won't then.
I guess I didn't have ears to hear that day.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know. We need to go up. We need to go to Indiana, South Dakota. There's a bunch of places. I'm telling you, we need to make a whole list of them bad boys, and we will. We'll come around there. No big deal.
You come out to my church, Trot.
I better not. They're gonna kick me out of your church, Bubba.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
The congregation gonna get mad at your pastor, lying to them.
Yeah. Hey, but I had my men's group today, and
Yeah.
bro, they were accepting of a lot of teaching today. I was really happy about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the things you got to play by ear and don't say too much, man. I don't say too much.
No.
Yeah.
Let me give you this. News report, right? Real quick. This just came out. Opponents want judge to declare Montana drag reading ban unconstitutional without requiring a trial.
What's unconstitutional?
Drag reading banned. So like these drag queens, they dress up and they go to these little children's schools and they want it to be unconstitutional. What does a kid have to learn at that age about sexual orientation and your
but what the argument comes down to is I don't, first of all, I don't know why they're even, you shouldn't have to put that in the Constitution, because when it's talking about that we have rights in this country, right? The right of freedom of speech and all these things. I fought for these people to have rights. So, I don't have to agree on what they're doing. But the thing that I have to agree with is they have a right. They have a right to act and be however they want. That doesn't mean that I'm in agreement that you have a right to go, unaliving people. I don't believe that you should be able to take the right away from someone else. So if someone says, no, I have a right to unalive someone, and you're like, well, you do have a choice, but you don't have a right to take away their right. If they say, well, I want to live, and you say, I have a right to unalive you, you cannot just say, so then that means that they can trump you by saying, no, I have a right to live. So now we're going to argue about whether this person should be unalived, about who has more of a right, so that's how ridiculous it's going to come down to. It's literally going to come down to something. I don't know what the topic's going to be, but it will be something like that, where someone is trying to say they have a right to hurt someone else. And the other person's going to say, no, you don't have a right to hurt me. And then they may be called a bigot because why didn't you let them hurt you? They have a right to do it. And so that's kind of the direction we're going. So, with the topic that we're at right now.
One more. You ready? One more.
Where people.
Oh, I got one more too.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go after this, Ryan. Watch this. Trot. We were just talking about disunion and dividing the church, right? So, not that these people are the church per se, but Pope Francis reportedly punishes Cardinal Burke, a frequent critic of the Second American Conservative Church leader. He is rebuked. So Pope Francis punished the Cardinal Raymond Burke because he blasted the Pope for his policies. So because of that, Pope Francis basically excommunicated this guy and basically said you're no longer able to have your apartment in the Vatican and a salary. So basically kicked him out the church because he didn't agree with his politics. What do you think about that one?
I just see that being normal. It's normal in that area, man. It really is. I don't know. I just see that. Let's say, Lori, ma'am, I need. Oh.
Hey, Trot.
Huh.
Did you see Trump's new campaign video? I think I sent it to you the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
No,
sent it to you yesterday. It's pretty good, man.
Oh, I'll look at it. I don't know. I don't think I've seen it though. Look what somebody said. Descaled is meeting up, but it's only for the guys. This is not an invitation for us ladies. What? We talked about the Bible for 2 hours. I'm sorry that Jesus is a man, but those teachings are for everybody. Not really sure. It's not an invitation for ladies. What do you mean? Matter of fact, a lady was reading it the whole time. I don't understand. Does anybody know this person, Nunez Loli? I don't get it.
Bro, she's talking about our meetups, which is probably, it's me, you basically going to different places.
I'm referring to traveling. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't understand what you meant. So look, me and Dre are married. Okay. Lael's married, and Benny. Hey, is Benny married?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. Okay, so Benny's married. Ryan's married. Hey, Mike, are you married? I don't think I've ever asked you, Mike. Are you married? Mike Garcia. Maybe I should know that, but I don't recall.
You funny, bro. The way you said that, bro, it came out really funny.
Yeah, the way you said that, bro, I was like, first I thought you were joking when you were like, yeah, me and Dre are married, and then you were silent after that. I'm like, oh, he's just kidding, but then he kept going. I'm like, oh, bro, that's funny.
Oh my God.
I was eating the omelet. I choked, bro. That's why you heard me go.
Puerto Rican.
That's why he's sitting there cracking jokes, bro.
What'd she say? Remember, she Puerto Rican. I'm in danger. What? Are you married or not, Mike? What?
Yeah, he's married, bro. She's Puerto Rican.
Married.
He's in danger on a regular basis.
All right. Okay, guys, we're all married. So, nobody's not like inviting the ladies. It's just we're all married, and so you got to be careful. Like that stuff don't look right. You know what I mean? So
100%, bro.
yeah. So it's no offense, but just to be clear, guys, come on. Anywhere that we're going, if you are there, show up. Bring your brother, for God's sakes, or your husband, or just please don't come alone. Like bring somebody with you. So matter of fact, I'm glad that was brought up. I hadn't even been thinking about that. So obviously it could look really rude. So I'm actually glad you brought that up. But guys, if we're in the area and we're meeting up or whatever, just bring somebody with you, like, a dad, a brother. It don't matter, your boyfriend, husband. It's not going to look right if you come alone. I mean, it's really not. And that's another thing, people don't realize if it doesn't even look right, the Bible says we're not supposed to do it. Even if it doesn't even look right. So, I say this all the time. Like if I'm at Starbucks or wherever and I see some 25-year-old girl and she's like, oh my God, hey. And let's just say she knows me because maybe I was invited to their church or something at one point. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember you. Hey, how are you? Hey, my car broke down. Can you give me a ride? No, you're not getting in my car. No, I better not. No. No. No, I'll call an Uber and I'll give you the money. Like I'll pay the Uber to take you somewhere, or I'll give you the money and say, hey, call an Uber, or I'm going to call someone that maybe we both know and say, hey, can you, maybe a female friend of the family, something, but you're not getting in my car. No, that's all I need is someone to say, oh, well, she was driving around. Bro, it doesn't look right. So when people say, when you belittle that and you downplay it, and you're like, oh, my God, you're just giving her. Listen, you would be better off not to have to explain why someone is, in your car that way. Now, if it was 88-year-old Miss Johnson, yes, Miss Johnson can get in my car, bro. Yes, Miss Johnson, get in. I'm going to take you to the house. I'm sorry your car broke down. It's just sometimes you got to use.
Bro, listen.
Yeah.
If one of these ladies show up by themselves, I'm walking out. I'm gonna leave you in there with Benny.
No, you ain't.
I'm out of there. My wife.
One of y'all women show up by yourself, I'm drop kicking everybody. We all going to jail. Everybody. I'm gonna have it recorded. It's gonna be on. Hey, I'm gonna have it documented. We all went to jail that day.
I'm gonna immediately get on FaceTime with my wife. Like, try to invite this young lady. I'm walking out.
Yeah, right. Brenda said, so I know how your wives feel. Yeah, but it's nothing personal, 100%, man. It's nothing personal.
If you show up by yourself, just go find somebody on the street and bring them with and say, he's my plus one or she's my plus one.
Something. You better do something.
Let me see. Hey, us women are all sugar and spice and everything nice. Yes, 100% y'all are. The one that you have, you start putting 2 or 3 women in there, become bitter water real quick. You hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Bitter water.
Oh, yeah.
Become bitter water real quick. I'm gonna be dying for something sweet.
Oh, my God. This dude's crazy, boy.
I want to say something, but I'm going to hold on to it.
You're going to have my hair for mooing. She going to put a new tune. I promise. But anything is, anything could be, looked at a wrong way, right? So, but anyhow, that being said, if we happen to come and be in your area, man, 100%, y'all can come hang out. Just please bring somebody with you. It's not hard, someone get trot off the mic. Let's see. It was a silence in heaven for 30 minutes. My wife would have no mercy. I know it was. Y'all better not get me off the mic. I'm spitting facts. All right, guys, we out. I will see y'all in the morning. Anybody on the panel got something to say? Say it now or forever. Hold your peace.
No, I'm good to go, man.
Have a good one, guys.
God bless.
Right,
Look
sweet.
forward to tomorrow.
See you guys in the morning.
All right, Terry, you done? Are you out? No, she's out. All right. God bless you. Have a good one.
Later.